Hey, it's Aaron the Ho from mobilereviewsa.ca, and this is a rumor roundup for the month of February in the year 2014 about all the wonderful things that the iPhone 6 might be. Now, I know the iPhone 5S has really only been out for about half a year, and because I'm addicted to technology, I kind of have to figure out what's going to happen before it actually happens. We're going to try anyways, and I'm assuming if you're watching this that you're the same way. So let's get started. Now, last month, there's been a lot of buzz about the actual size of the screen of the iPhone 6. Now, 4.7 inches or 5.5 inches. Some people are saying that it's going to be two different types of iPhone 6s. Some people are saying there's not going to be a bezel on the entire iPhone 6. It might be coated with a sapphire glass, and it might look like a mini iPad mini. So that's basically the summary of all the things that I've heard, but because we are 6 months out, there's a good chance that most of those are wrong. So for this roundup, I'm going to split everything into a couple of categories. I'm going to talk about the release date, I'm going to talk about the size of the display, the actual display itself, the processor, the battery capacity, the number of sensors, as well as the wireless. So I'm going to try to organize everything so it's a little easier to understand. Now, one more thing is that I pull everything from the internet. I do not have a cousin working in the Apple supply chain tell me what could or may happen. I read all my stuff from the internet, and all the articles that I will be referencing will be in the description section below. So in terms of the release date, when is the iPhone 6 going to come out? Now, I read this article, or I saw an article that referenced the month of May, and that's 3 months away from now, and that seems kind of crazy given that it would have only been out in the market for like 10 months. My guess it's going to be in September, and a lot of other articles have supported that. Now, historically, the iPhone 5 was released in September, the 5S was released in September, and to move all those little pieces that make the iPhone 6, given the huge demand that it will command, I don't think it's going to come out any earlier than September. Now, there's nothing out there about the capacity, base capacity of the iPhone. Now, it might not be a big deal. I know everyone's trying to push things into the cloud and whatnot, but I would love to see a 32 gigabyte base model, but that's just my preference. Again, I haven't seen anything about the capacity of the iPhone 6. Now, there's been a lot of buzz about the actual size, the actual display size of the iPhone 6. Now, a lot of people are saying that Apple's falling behind because they don't have bigger screens. Now, Apple never does anything, I don't think, without really thinking it through. And if everybody's doing 5.7-inch phablets, well, they probably won't because they're different that way. Now, I'm sure we'll figure out the size by the time late spring, early summer, because the parts will have leaked through the supply chain, and we'll all know that it's going to be something like a 4.2-inch or 7-inch or something that will fit in my pocket, because that's where I actually believe my cell phone should stay in most of the time. I shouldn't have to carry it around. Why do people love these big phones? I don't know, maybe I'm in a different generation where I grew up where my cell phones actually should have gotten smaller and been able to fit in my pocket. The coolest thing that I've heard about the iPhone 6 display is that it's going to be coated in sapphire or made out of sapphire. I'm not quite sure the details yet, but it's going to be made out of the same stuff that is found on top of the camera lens of the iPhone 5S. That's exciting to me because, well, if it's a stronger glass, that means it could be thinner, and that means the iPhone 6 in general will be much thinner. And that really excites me because, going back to my point again, that my cell phone should really be able to fit in my pocket. I shouldn't have to carry it around all the time or wear it on the side of my belt, but hey, again, that's just me. Now, there's been some chatter about a bezel-less iPhone. Now, that means that the screen goes to the very edge of the iPhone, and I think that would just be confusing. Now, I do realize that the source that I'm pulling this rumor from is actually from Korea, and they said that the Galaxy S5 was going to be bezel-less, and well, they're very, very wrong. Now, the last rumor about the displays, and this actually might compete with the sapphire glass touchscreen as being the most exciting thing about the display, is the use of a technology called quantum dots. I'm not quite sure what quantum dots are, but according to the article, it's supposed to improve the visibility. It's supposed to make the iPhone 6 screen just pop. The article on Forbes says that the display is going to be the new killer app on the iPhone 6. Now, Apple has been sitting on the Retina display ever since the iPhone 4, and it kind of hasn't changed. The screen has gotten bigger, but the density of the pixels really hasn't. So it'll be really interesting to see if Apple actually updates their Retina screen with quantum dots. Now, in terms of the actual size, the actual design of the iPhone 6, there was a bunch of images released earlier in February that basically made the iPhone 6 look like a mini iPad mini. And that is really exciting to me because I really like the changes to the iPad Air as well as the iPad mini. And if Jony Ives decides to do that, I'd be really okay with it. And Logically, that seems like a good choice to go with because, well, the entire manufacturing process has created, that shape already, so it wouldn't be that difficult to move it to the iPhone 6. Now, with that being said, the iPhone is probably the most important part of Apple's business at this point, and so if they were to release a new form factor that surpassed the ones that we know with the iPad Air and the iPad Mini, then they probably would do it with the iPhone 6. The last thing that I haven't heard, but I really want to, is the broad application of liquid metal alloys. Now, Apple made the deal with liquid metal back in 2010, and I think the SIM trays right now of the iPhone 5s and 5Ss are made out of liquid metal alloys, and I'm hoping because it's thinner and it's stronger that they're able to use it in the iPhone 6 to make it like almost paper thin, because that would just be incredible. Now, in terms of the processor, the iPhone 5S came out with an A7 chip, but what made the A7 special was that it was 64-bit. Now, I don't think there are many Android devices or any Android devices yet that use a 64-bit chip. Even the latest Galaxy S5 is still rocking a 32-bit chip. Now, I know most users actually won't know this difference between a 32-bit and a 64-bit, but hey, whenever Apple comes out on top, I like to do this. Yay! Now, the camera on the iPhone for the last few iterations has been sitting at about 8 megapixels, but with the iPhone 5S, they changed the camera. They still kept it at 8 megapixels, but it allowed you to capture some slow-mo footage, which is awesome. Now, according to Mac Rumors, the iPhone 6 is going to come with a 10 megapixel sensor as well as having an f-stop with 1.8, which is all fine and dandy, but it'd be really awesome if they could do super slow-mo. Because I would totally use that in all my videos. Now, in terms of the battery, really nothing, but it'd be really awesome if they came out with some sort of inductive charging, because, wires actually kind of suck. Now, I haven't found anything about potentially new sensors in the iPhone 6. The iPhone 5S came out with Touch ID, which is a very useful feature, but I don't think Apple's going to come out with anything else for the iPhone 6. They might make improvements to the Touch ID and, call it the Touch ID Air or the Touch ID 2. Now, in terms of wireless connectivity, I read an article in Business Insider saying that Broadcom, the company that makes all the chips, wireless chips that go into the iPhone 5S, has come up with a new chip that is 802.11 AC compatible. And that's kind of the new standard that everybody's going towards. Right now, it's 802.11n, and the 802.11 AC is supposed to be 3 to 4 times faster than the N standard, which is pretty exciting because, N isn't fast enough for most of the things that we do now. Apparently. So those are basically the big rumors that I've heard about the iPhone 6. I'd love to know what you guys think is going to happen with the iPhone 6. So leave them in the comments section below. Leave your feedback on Google+, Twitter, as well as Facebook. I generally check all those things as well. I'm Aaron the Ho. I do this thing at Mobile Reviews where I talk about mobile stuff. If this is the first time you're watching one of our videos, I do encourage you to click subscribe as we put out a lot of new content on a daily basis. Every single week we review one mobile accessory on top of the news, tips and tricks. So you get a good sense of kind of what's out there. We get into the nitty-gritty details for each one of these accessories that we review so that you get the best information. I think that's about all I got. I don't have anything else. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next month at the end of March, where we will find out that the iPhone 6 will come with a free litter of puppies. Thanks for watching.